It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z. Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at a follow-up to The Game here, a recent Game of the Year nominee in Germany, a really simple card game, cooperative card game, in which you try to get rid of all of your cards by playing numerically, sequentially. That's pretty much it. The sequel I'm talking about is right here, The Game Extreme, which is pretty much the same game with a few extra special cards in it. I'm going to show you how the game works very briefly. I'll show you those special cards. Then we'll come on back and I'll tell you what I think of it and what I think of it compared to the original. So here we go. The objective in The Game Extreme is to play all of the cards out to 4 piles of cards that are going to be forming on the table, and you are trying to run through all of the cards in your hands as well as the entire deck, which is oftentimes extremely difficult, oftentimes impossible in fact, but you are trying to get as close to as possible to that goal. If you can do it all, then you have an absolute win. Each player at the beginning of the game is going to be dealt a hand of cards depending on the number of players. So right now I'm going to have a game of 3 set up. So everybody gets 6. You pick a start player and you start. On your turn you have to play at least 2 cards, and you can play them to any of the 4 piles that are empty right now, but they'll start forming in a second. And 2 of them have the numbers going up, and 2 of them have the numbers going down, and the deck has the numbers from 2 through 99 in here, each one only one. So let's say it's this player's turn. They have to play at least 2 cards, as I said. So they're going to play this card here first to this pile as a 3, and their second play is going to be, let's say, over here as a 76. All right? Once you're done, you can keep playing, by the way. This player can now play the 72. They could play the 71. That's fine. You could do that. You can stop whenever you want to, then draw back up, and then it is the next player's turn to continue going. That's it. That's pretty much the game except for one little wrinkle. That wrinkle is that you can do the 10 backwards trick, which is quite simply if a, let's say for instance, this card is on here. This pile goes up, by the way, and the 13 is sitting there. Well, I'm allowed to jump backwards in the sequence exactly 10 and play, for example, the 3 on there. Just like I could jump backwards in this sequence going down, and jump back to the 81. The 81 being, again, contrary to the flow of that pile, and there will be 4 of them here. That's it. That's the game. You continue going as much as you possibly can, see how many cards you were left over with, and that's how well you did. That I just explained to you is the original The Game. This one, The Game Extreme, introduces a few new symbols on the cards that spice up the whole thing. You could even play the original game with this deck of cards and just ignore those symbols, but they add a little bit of flavor and they're very straightforward. So let me show you what those symbols are right now. Here we have them. We have 3 immediate symbols, which are these 3 here, and those mean, this one means stop, you cannot continue playing cards. This one with the little skull means if it's still showing at the end of the round, you die. The game's over, so you have to cover this one up. And this one with the 3 exclamation mark means you have to play exactly 3 cards. The only way to play a stop on that, by the way, is as the 3rd card. So you have to play exactly 3 cards on that one. Those are the immediate ones. And then the persisting effects, the ones that stay in play, are these 4 here. This one says, no longer can you communicate with one another until this card is covered up. Because in the original game, you sort of want to say things like, hey, don't play on this pile. You can't be too specific, but you can give each other ideas as to what to do to cooperate and coordinate your plays. This one lets you not converse. This one here means you have to play to 1 pile. Everything you play has to be to the same pile as opposed to break it up like I showed you in the example. And again, until you cover it up. This one means you cannot do that jump 10 backwards trick. And this one means when you draw cards, you draw a single one until this is covered up. So obviously, these all make the game harder for you. And if that's what you're looking for, then this is a great way to do that. Or again, you can sort of ignore them and play the original, the game. But that's pretty much it. You continue going until you play as many cards as possible, possibly all of them. And if you can play all the cards, you win the game. I should probably start by saying that I think the game is interesting, but I don't think it's spectacular. It's a light card filler. It's a pretty straightforward game. It sort of baffled me when this got nominated for the Game of the Year award. So there's that. I like it, but not floored by it or anything. Having said that, I think the game Extreme here not only makes it considerably easier to find on a database like Board Game Geek, but it also makes it a slightly more interesting game. There is something going on here. In the original, you could say there's barely a game, really. You're sort of just shedding cards. In this one, you have those special abilities, which adds a little interest and I think makes for a more engaging experience, right? You have highs and lows in this one, whereas in the original, you eventually got to a point where you couldn't play, and that was it. In this, you have moments of tension that you then hopefully put out that fire, and then you sort of have a breather again, and then someone's got to play this card, and now we can't talk for a while. And I like that. I like that this one has more drama. It's a little more interesting, a little more engaging. Having said that, I still don't think it's an amazing game, but if you're a fan of the original and this was maybe not on your radar, or it's something you looked at and weren't sure if you if you should pick it up, I think it's worth it. I think the new cards are neat. I think it's an interesting little game. So that's it for me. The game Extreme, certainly an improvement on the original game, a better game, a fun little filler. Nothing to write home about, perhaps, but I think this is going to kill an afternoon very well. And if you enjoy co-op games or you want them to be really, really light and simple and straightforward, then this is the one right here. That's the game Extreme.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.